Okay guys, welcome to another video. In today's video, very briefly, I just want to show you a solution I came up with for carrying jerry cans in your vehicle. So I'm just kind of messing around with this Diamondback truck cover still. I've already done a couple videos on it. I'm really liking it. It's really cool. And now that I can utilize my whole bed to store what I need to store, I'm kind of messing with it, playing with it a little bit. I wanted to talk about carrying jerry cans. You can see I have two, and I've had these. There's a date on here. I think this might have been the first time I filled them up, 2018. So they're pretty old, and I started labeling them, and then my system is I have a handful, and like every month I'll just throw one in my vehicle and then refill that one, and kind of keep track. They're kind of like numbered. It's easier than trying to use stable or fuel stable. Okay, that's besides the point. But I wanted to talk about storing fuel. When I go on long road trips, like I just went to Texas recently, I brought these two cans with me. And I had them flipped, kind of their long axis, under a crossover toolbox. And then I had like a case of water next to it to make sure they didn't slide around. And then I had stuff in front of it to make sure it didn't slide, forward and backwards. And on that trip, or on the way back, one of the two, the case of water moved, the cans moved, and I just wanted a better solution. So in the past, on older vehicles, I've bought those jerry can holders that you can buy on Amazon, and it kind of like straddles the can with like metal 1-inch straps, and there's holes. There's a metal strap that comes around the top. You can lock it. They look kind of cool, but a couple things. One, they used to be cheaper, but now the cheapest one I saw on Amazon, I was looking around, was like $45. Some, it's the same exact product, are like $65, but they might just have a different label of a well-known company, but they're all made in the same factory in China. What I found with those is they're kind of a universal, so when you get it, you fit your can, you need to bend the middle so it fits in there. But what happens with these metal jerry cans is when they heat up, the middles swell out. So if you fit it when the can's empty, then it's going to bulge the rack out, so you won't be able to take the can out of the carrier if it's full. Or a better idea is fill it and wait for it to swell up and then fit your carrier to it. But either way, they're a pain. They scratch up your cans. They're just not that good of a solution, and they're expensive. Now, if you're talking about just buying one, $40-50, whatever, but if you're trying to outfit multiple vehicles, it can get kind of pricey. And I just wasn't a fan of them. So I started thinking, I'm not a fabricator. I don't weld. I don't know sheet metal. I'm kind of handy. I'm DIY, but I don't know metal and sheet metal and that welding. So if I knew how to weld or do sheet metal, I probably could have came up with a better solution, but I guarantee it would have cost more. It would have been more expensive. So I started looking around on the internet of something that I could improvise, a metal rectangular box that's a similar dimension to jerry cans. And then I started looking at ammo cans. And then I remembered when we bought our house, there was some stuff left, and one of the things was a large size ammo can that had hard, like just scrap metal, like kind of junk in it. So I went out, and it was already emptied out. I went out and carried a jerry can with me, threw it in, and it fit well. The ammo can was a little bit too large, but I looked on the side, and it's a 20 millimeter ammo can. So you can see that, and I'll walk around to the other side because, yeah, you can see it down there. So what I did was I got the can, I sanded the rust off, and then I just found a random color of spray painted it. I really didn't have to do that, especially because it's going to be in here sealed, so it wouldn't have rusted anymore. But it's whatever. So originally I had the can on this side, and it came up to about here, and pretty much I would, stick the bottle in, and I sized it so it would clear this bar. And then I started thinking about it more, because I was going to buy 2 or 3 more, because on Sportsman's Warehouse they're $20 if you're a member. And I started thinking about it more, and I'm like, if I cut the can in half, it would be shorter, so it would be easier to get it in and out. And it didn't matter to me because the can was free. But that's what I ended up doing, and it works really well. So I wanted to shoot a video and just show people, help people out if you have this struggle about a jerry can holder. So I don't do DIY videos like showing you. I generally do the project and then show you the results. But again, this was a quick... Oh, sorry about this charger cord. I'm having to use this Milwaukee top off, I think it's called. It's pretty cool, but I'm having to use this one because last night my Bluetti power station decided to just quit working and not charge my phone, so that's awesome. But this has been super reliable. It has inverter, I think up to 400 watts. It has a USB-C and then a standard USB. And I use this thing, I wasn't planning on using it today, but it works out pretty nice. It's really convenient. And when you're working on projects and you already have your different batteries laying around, it's really easy to plug your phone into, or plug in a speaker or something like that. But pretty cool project. So sorry about the cord being in the way. Okay, so what I ended up doing is just cutting the can in half, and I used a Milwaukee jigsaw with a metal cutting blade. I marked it out at 7 inches because without the lid it's 14 inches tall. So I marked a line, pencil mark at 7 inches, and I thought the can would be a lot harder to cut, but a metal cutting jigsaw blade cuts through ammo cans super clean, super nice. And then I was able to cut it really clean, but it did leave just a slight burr. So I used an orbital sander with like a 150 or 120, and I just ran around the edge, around the top, and then tilted it at like a 45 on the outside, tilted it and did the inside. So like the whole thing, it's not polished, but you can run your finger along the whole thing and you won't get slivers. So that's what's important. So you can see that one on that side, that one on that side, and every truck's going to be different. But what I ended up doing, or I put it right here for a couple reasons. First, I like using milk crates to organize, because mainly when you have a open bed, they have holes in it, so it doesn't hold water. The other thing is they don't tip over like 5-gallon buckets do. But I have a tie down point down here, and I knew I wanted one right here, like a kind of quick access box. So I set this here, and I ran the ammo can up to it with a slight gap, so this slides out. And the reason I wanted the can on this side, on the driver's side, is because my fuel fill is right here. And this thing here, I think I've done a video on this, is a shaker tube. So you throw that in there and your fuel tank. So once this is in here, you really don't have to remove it. You fill it with fuel. So you fill up your truck, and then you just top this off or fill this up and lock it. It does have a locking pin. It's not in there right now. When you want to rotate it, you open it up and you stick your siphon hose in and you empty it into your truck, and you repeat the process. It's really convenient. So where was I? Oh, these ammo can holders. Yeah, so it's a 20 millimeter ammo can. I'll leave a link. I'm not affiliated with Sportsman's Guide, but they had 20 millimeter ammo cans for about 20 bucks, and a little bit less if you're a member. I'm not a member yet, but I should be. So I'm going to move this crate out of the way. So this here, a little pry bar, what's that for? It's actually, truth be told, I'm kind of a weakling. It's to pry the lids up, because when these heat up, this develops a really strong seal. So a flat tip screwdriver, this is just a Harbor Freight pry bar, and there's enough room just to throw it in there. So I'll take that out. The next problem, this can was a little too big. It just so happened when I got my decked box, it came with these pieces of foam. You can see a piece back here. It's like what you find in a Pelican case. And I'm all for like improvising and reusing stuff. So I started looking and I'm like, hey, that's pretty close size. This one's sliced down. But I sliced some pieces here, kind of a wedge shape, to stick in there. So it moves around. It's empty right now. I'm about to go fill it up. But you know, it moves around when it's full. It didn't move as much. You can see this gap here, and this can is kind of bulged out. But when it's full and heated up, it bulges out a little bit more. And you know, what's cool with this foam is it protects the can, right? Because in that way this paint isn't wearing on metal. So it protects the can, but it also squishes down. So when the can wants to expand, this foam will compress down. So the system looks kind of like thrown together, because it was kind of thrown together, but it just so happens that it works pretty perfect. Now, it doesn't have a lock on it, because I have a locking tonneau cover, or the Diamondback cover. I was thinking about, it would be easy to like run a small ratchet strap from one side around to the other and through the handles. I could do that. I don't think I'm going to, just because the tonneau or the Diamondback cover is locking. And then let's move to the other side for a second. So this one is the top, and it is pretty much the same. What I ended up doing, if you want, I could have left the lid on it and had that the new bottom. But this is just experiment. This one I left open, and it just allows more room for expansion, and it allowed me to mount it a little closer to the bed, or to the bedside. And you can see that one over there. So it worked out. Pretty much, it didn't cost me anything. I had the gas cans, I had the ammo box, and I just so happened to have this foam, and I already had screws and hardware to mount it. But if you don't have any of it, if you only have the cans, it pretty much, from Sportsman's Guide, would cost you $20. You get two gas can holders, so each one costs $10, and a little bit of your time. You would need a metal cutting jigsaw or something to cut metal. I would recommend a jigsaw because it zipped through it really clean. I probably wouldn't use a Sawzall or a grinder. You could use a grinder, but I've never had good luck doing that, but a jigsaw worked really good. If you have a lot of time, you could probably use a hacksaw. I prefer a jigsaw. So you need a jigsaw and one ammo can, and you get two jerry can holders. So I'm pretty excited about this. Really quick, these are not Wavian jerry cans. I got them from a place called Deutsche Optik. back in like 2018, I think is what the date, I put the date on it. And they're GELG. And I think these are made in Poland. And I forget where Wavian cans are made, which is your traditional jerry can. But I remember reading some reviews, and I think people were saying they're pretty much made in sister factories, like they're made to the same specs and everything. However, back when I bought these, I bought 4. I think I have 12 of them total, but 4 of them I want to say cost $200 free shipping. Well, yeah, $200 free shipping, so they were $50 a piece. I just looked recently, I don't remember the exact price, this was a couple months ago, because I was thinking about buying more. And these have really shot up in price. I can only assume because of the or whatever you want to call it, the kerfuffle over in Europe. So, these GLGE cans, if you want jerry cans and you don't have them, I would recommend getting the Wavian cans. They are more expensive. They're like anywhere from $80 to $100 on Amazon. The reason I would recommend those, so these have served me well for years. However, one of them, it's not one of these two, but one of them actually bursted its weld. I can't even see the hole, but it's leaking gas out. It bursted the weld, and I lost pretty much, it wasn't a full can, but it leaked out. It was about halfway up the can, so I lost about 2.5 gallons of fuel. And I'm sure I could find a way to repair it. You know, I have buddies that weld. They could probably grind the paint down and throw a weld in there, and I may do that, but that was kind of inconvenient. So I would actually recommend the Wavian cans if you don't have any yet. But besides that, they've been good. These nozzles are a slightly different size than Wavian, so they use different spouts. But if you use my system, or not my system, but if you use that siphon shaker tube, I don't have any of the nozzles. So that shaker siphon costs like $10. One nozzle costs like 20 or 30. So, and that's a lot easier to use. And, but yeah, besides that, these GLGE cans, I don't want to shoot another video just talking about these. So just buyer beware. I would probably get the Wavian cans, because I got these because they ended up being a lot cheaper than Wavian, but now they shot up in price, so they're fairly close. But yeah, that's just a quick update on the cans. They still work. Only one of like 12 developed a hole. But yeah, again, you can see this angle. Now, one thing to keep in mind, this one on this side has an open bottom. I may swap this fuel can out for a water jerry can. I'm not sure yet. One thing to keep in mind, and one advantage of this system, is if you only use the bottom, it's sealed. I used sealing screws, or sealing hardware. So the advantage of this system is if your fuel can does develop a leak, it'll fill the container up, but it won't fill the bed up. All those other jerry can holders, that won't happen. So that's something to keep in mind. But yeah, I think that's it. I just wanted to shoot a quick video, an inexpensive, fairly easy jerry can holder to make. I didn't show removing the can just because I'm filming by myself. I only have one hand, but it's not that hard. You just pull the foam out, and then the advantage, you can see how close it is. So if I was to tip it, it would get stuck. But having that space down there, the cool thing is you just slide it forward and then you tilt it out. Right, this one's empty as well. I'm about to go fill them up, but I wanted to shoot this video quick. And then you just slide it back into place, and then you just slide the foam back in, and it's fairly secure. So again, there's a lot of fuel can holder options out there. I went with this option because I like saving money when and where I can and when and where it makes sense. There's other people who just get the warm fuzzies by spending a ton of money on a cool gadget, and there's everyone in between. But if you're looking for a really inexpensive, cool, tiny weekend project you want to do, I mean, this project, it took me an hour maybe, between mounting it, cutting it, spray painting it. Again, like always, if you like this video, go back to my homepage, watch some of my current videos. If you like what you see, feel free to subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next video.